Hey everybody, welcome back to the main campaign. We've got a new player. We're jumping in here tonight, and so we finalized character creation on the air, and then did a sample interview. So if you want to hear all the character creation stuff, I just put that at the end. Starts at about an hour. So if you want to listen to that first, feel free. Otherwise, we'll catch you in 2 weeks. And like, rate, review, subscribe, all that. Tell your friends. Follow us on Podchaser, Good Pods, all that stuff. And if there's a podcatcher that we're not on, please let me know so we can get on there. Let's see. The website is shatteredworlds.libsyn.com. I think that's right. Yeah, that's right. Anything else? No, I think that'll do it. So until next time. Wait, this is the start. Have fun.
Okay, so I'm not like married to this name or anything. This is very much a beta test name.
We've had some real silly ones. We had Taco the Tasty. We had nice. Farley Narts.
So, okay.
Yeah. Whatever works. It's all good.
Maybe Ebenezer Crunch won't be quite that new.
Ebenezer Crunch?
Yeah.
That's great.
Oh, no.
If you ever get to captain your own ship, you'll be Captain Crunch.
Well, we're just going to have to prevent that from happening, or the whole podcast to be sued.
We'll cap your advancement at Commander.
Yeah. First Officer Crunch.
Welcome back, folks. This is Shattered Worlds RPG. I'm Jeff. I don't know why I'm so tentative today. This is weird. I just got done doing some character creation business with our new best friend, Jayme. What's up?
Hey, everybody.
Did I say my name is Jeff? Loremaster?
I think so. I don't know about the Loremaster. You definitely said Jeff.
Okay, well, I can edit all that out and start again. No. So your character, Ebenezer Crunch.
Yes.
Former diplomat, current Walmart greeter. No, that's not your job. But you are an old gentleman. And at the moment... earlier tonight, there was a big party. All these newcomers showed up, and you're supposed to work like right after the party, inspecting various buildings, and you're kind of annoyed because you didn't get to meet the people. And you notice on your checklist tonight that one of the places you're supposed to go is the jail, which is normally a cake job. You just go in and say hi to the deputy and head out because there's never any prisoners, really. The colony's kind of broken into several kind of compounds. They're like enclaves or whatever that sort of police their own, whereas this is like right across from City Hall and is like, yeah, not that secure, you know.
Okay.
There's a bunch of stuff that's probably been not written up in years. You're realizing as you're crossing the open ground, there's like a nicely manicured lawn and a fountain and stuff. And as you're crossing that plaza, you realize that there are some prisoners now that you heard over lunch or over dinner from some fellow colonists that there are 3 prisoners in the jail, and they were captured by some of the new people from off-world. So that's interesting. And so you're coming up on the jail, and I feel like it should have a cool space name. Like, what's a space colony jail? I mean, it's just a jail, right? It's not the brig, because you're not, on a ship.
I want to go like full goofy, like the Laser Penitentiary or something.
You've been trying to pitch that idea for years.
I've held several meetings.
The boss is like, Ebenezer, we don't have enough lasers to make a laser penitentiary.
Yes, but if you call it that, they'll believe it.
So as you're arriving, you see there's nice green lanterns outside the little jail building. So it's pretty well lit perimeter, and you look back over your shoulder, and it's a light drizzle, and you can see the big sort of hotel/city hall sort of shape. It's the nicest building in the colony. It's almost like a soft serve ice cream cone or something, or like those big flat wide mushrooms, sort of that vibe, like up in a pile. And so like everybody gets a balcony. It's really nice. And you can see there's lights up there and people having fun meeting these newcomers, and you're stuck doing this dumb job. And you see the door is slightly ajar. So right there, that's a security, check.
I pull out my space clipboard immediately, and I just click. That's like the loud click. I don't even think I'd be like concerned about a security breach. I'm just thinking someone's going to get written up for this,
Mm-hmm.
I make a little mark.
Okay, you hear a little music from inside. It's recorded. It's not like somebody playing a guitar. Something that was big 30 years ago, I would imagine.
Back when they made real music.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like Space Nirvana, I guess. If we're going 30 years back from now.
Yeah.
Yeah, so slightly open door music. You can't see through the windows because there's blinds.
I'd like to head in and check it out. See if there's anything else I can write them up for.
You stroll in and you see nobody sitting at the reception desk. You hear the music is like around the corner, back down where the cells are. But it kind of turns and goes out of view. And you hear the music and you see a little smoke puffing around the corner. Like somebody's smoking something in here.
I'm like muttering like abandoned post, unauthorized frivolity, some kind of indoor. You
do see a coffee cup still steaming and a couple of pastries left over from dinner on a plate.
Do any of the pastries have a bite out of them?
No, but there's a space where there would have been a third one.
Okay.
Maybe it got eaten already.
I mean, as an on-the-job perk, I would just like to confiscate one of these pastries.
Yoink. Sleight of hand check. Yeah. No, it's easy. You snag that pastry. What would you like to do?
Let me see here. Tuck it in my pocket? Like,
sure.
I'd like to think that
it's not too covered with sugar. It's, Well,
this is probably something I do a lot, right? Like, anytime I walk by an unattended plate. So maybe I have some kind of, not tissue paper, like the tissue paper.
You have
like
a snack bag.
Yeah.
Stick fresh snacks in.
I'm like, yoink.
Hell yeah. I imagine you have some sort of satchel to carry your important business gear.
My important gear and stolen pastries.
Yeah.
So after I'm done stealing their lunch, I guess I could check out the smoke, see what that's about.
Okay, so you head down the hall and you peek around the corner, and you see the deputy is sitting on a stool smoking what looks like maybe a either a hand-rolled cigarette or a joint. Most people hand roll here because like there's just like a culture of not using the 3D printer or whatever unless you need to. So people grow the tobacco or the weed or whatever in hydroponics and greenhouses and stuff. So a lot of it is rolled. Anyway, you smell it's clearly like the good stuff, and he looks over your way. And his stool is pretty close to a big jail cell, like a drunk tank for multiple people. And there's 3 people in there leaned up against the wall. Like one of them seems to be doing like stretches in the middle of the area. And then there's bunks in the back and a toilet. And yeah, so the deputy looks up and he goes, "Hey there, Ebenezer."
Do I know this deputy's name?
Yeah, you definitely know. This is the Yafridi guy. He's about 60, reddish brown hair, beard. He definitely likes his pastries. He's a little round in the middle. And he's really good at impressions, and he's really good at manipulating his features with his Yafridi ability. So he'll actually like copy notable members of the town and like do little bits. So that's what Ramsey is known for. He also has traded shots with members of the opposing factions, but it's not known if he's ever actually hit anyone.
Oh, okay. For a second, I thought you meant like shots. I'm like, wow, this guy really parties on the job.
No, actual gunfights. He's been in a few.
Okay. So Ebenezer kind of draws himself up to his full height, which isn't very high. And he's like, Deputy Ramsey, look at you smoking on the job.
Oh, I'm sorry, man. You wanna? He holds it out to you.
I wave him away with the clipboard. I'm like, certainly not.
Okay. And he says, have you met our new prisoners?
No.
I've been trying to get this one down right. And he kind of does the like, runs his hands over his face, and his like hair starts to shorten up and turn blonde. And he like whoosh, wipes his features out. And you see the lady doing stretches in the middle of the room. He looks vaguely like her, and he's like, ta-da!
I give it a 5 out of 10. Keep practicing.
Oh, okay. I mean, well, they just got here. You know, it'll take me a while. He's like, the lady in the middle there, that's Simi, I think is her name. Let me double check. Yeah, Simi Sarala, Lunari sniper. And then on the left is a tall, thin Lunari gentleman with long brown hair, brown eyes. Looks very fit and limber, like a dancer. And a Yafridi rogue. I mean, they're all kind of rogues. Named Chet. He's big, square-headed, kind of bland-looking fellow, and brown hair, blue eyes. Anyway, so he's like, that's Mick, and that's Chet, and that's Simi in the middle there, and they all grunt in your direction. These look like hardcore killer types.
I walk over, carefully standing like outside of like reach of the bars, and grab me like, maybe 3 feet away from the bars. And I kind of look down my nose at them, which would probably still be looking up at least a couple of them.
Well, and they're sitting down, so
okay.
yeah,
Gotcha. Maybe more eye level
or whatever. Yeah.
Yeah.
They're pretty spooky. They're all just glaring at you.
And I, while keeping my eyes on them, I kind of asked the deputy, and what are these fine ladies and gentlemen in for?
Oh, you didn't hear. So, those folks that came in from the west side, they crashed in some kind of space train incident. These three apparently turned on them and some of us. And he rattles off some names. Abby, Norv, and Kihar, who are a 3-member scavenging team that ranges well to the south and west. That's kind of their territory. And he basically says that they went out there to see what all the commotion was. There was some smoke and stuff near the coast, and that's where they met these people. And then at some point they all got separated, and then these three, there were 4 of them at the time, but one of them's dead, jumped the Abby, Norv, and Kihar, took them down, and took their boat, and like we're gonna go across the river, but then our heroes showed up and wasted one of them. And like Mistletoe, this huge Vorok lady, she ran down the beach and speared this Gillamorian guy, drowned him right there in front of everybody. There were missiles going off. It was a whole thing. You should hear Norv talk about it. And he's really getting into it. Meanwhile, these 3 are just eyeballing you.
As I look about the cell, do I see any? Because I mean, obviously, the vibe I'm getting for this deputy security is a little lax around here. Do I see any? Do I see any like potential, escape methods, or like, is he like leaving his keys like right next to one of their hands, or anything like weird? I'm basically like scoping around for problems.
I like it. Let's see. What kind of skill roll would this be? Let's just call it investigation. So roll a d10 and then add your light stat, and then +2 because you have investigation.
Okay, so that's d10 plus 10 from light and +2 for investigation.
Oh yeah, your light's 10 now. So yeah, you're super smart. You should be able to get some insight into this, unless you roll a 1.
Ooh. Okay, I got a 9.
Hell yeah. So 29, that should do it. Or actually, I guess it's 21. So I came up with a new name for a difficult success, like extraordinary or major. I don't know. I keep going back and forth with these. It's like mild, medium, and hot. It's like...
I like extraordinary. That sounds like it's just so it's like long. A big event.
Extraordinary success.
Yes, you need a top hat every time you get one.
Oh hell yeah, Extraordinary success. Let me twirl my cane.
Yes,
and
you get a free cane with every roll.
Yes, throw my half cape over my shoulder.
To the opera.
Okay, yeah, so you can see that someone has been worrying the toilet in the corner, so that like there's clearly like some degraded earth around the back of it that you can see. You can see a conduit, like a metal wrapped conduit that goes up to the light above the above the drunk tank area. Clearly someone's been like trying to pry it loose, and one of the brackets is a little bit loose, and it looks like maybe the bulb isn't screwed in all the way. One of the brackets is a little loose under one of the bunks, and that could maybe be turned into a weapon or a tool. You're not sure about the lock itself, but you also don't see the key ring on Deputy Ramsey's belt or anything.
Oh, and is that out of the ordinary? Like he would normally have that on his belt?
Yes.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, most deputies are required to keep them on them.
Yeah, okay. I just wasn't sure if they had like hotel key cards or anything. Space cards.
They used to, but like after a while they started to go bad. The climate here is messed up. Yeah. So again, they've started trying the old tried and true methods, especially with security. They don't want anything to go bad during a crisis.
I'm not sure if this would be a role or not, but I think what I would try to do at this point is, like, I guess I'd try to come up with an excuse or a pretext to get the deputy out of earshot of these guys so I could tell them about that. So maybe I could just be like, would you join me for a pastry out back or around front?
Oh, sure. Yeah. Okay. Hey, folks, you behave yourselves in here, all right? And he chuckles and follows you back out to the front. He's like, what's up?
I say, those folks most certainly are not behaving themselves. And I bust out my clipboard and I begin frantically writing down, someone's muddled with the toilet and the conduit and one of the brackets are loose around the bunks. And I'm just going on and on. And we have several potential jailbreaks in that room alone.
He's like, whoa, settle down there, Ebenezer. Some of that stuff's been like that for a long time. I can't say for sure. Ah, man. And then all of a sudden you hear a knock on the door and a couple, I don't know, party goers come in and they're like, Ramsey, what's up? You want a beer? And he's got like a fancy colony beer he wants to share.
Ebenezer just fixes Ramsey with like a cold, hard stare. Like he's not going to tell him not to, but he's just going to see what he does.
Yeah, so this is Nero and Otis. They're twins and they're incorrigible. And Ramsey like looks excited about that beer, and then he looks at you and he's like kind of shakes his head a little bit. And he's like, guys, come on. You know you're not supposed to be here. I'm in the middle of a shift watching some dangerous criminals here now. You better mosey on out of here. And they look crestfallen, and they say, who are these folks anyways? And he gives you a look like, oh, I have to go through this again.
I'm sorry, what were their names again? Chorus, and what was the other one's name?
These two here or the prisoners?
The two who just walked in with the beer.
Oh, that's Nero and Otis.
Oh, Nero and Otis. Okay. Yeah, I think that if it's allowed, like there's no prison information retention policy. I just give them a quick rundown, and then I'd be like, so the dangerous types, you don't want to be anywhere near here. Move along.
Yeah, okay, sure. Hey, you might want to get the back door looked at. Last time I was partying with you, Ramsey, I fell into the hinge, man, and I think it's a little rusty. You might want to go check that out. And Ramsey looks real sheepish. And he's like, okay, Otis, all right, move along now.
Ebenezer just kind of shakes his head. He's like, just out of curiosity, Ramsey, do people stay in this jail just out of politeness? Or is there anything actually designed to keep them inside?
Well, I mean, here in the center of town, folks are usually pretty well behaved. So, I mean, I don't have to use it every night of the week. You know what I mean? It's, I mean, we've had the commissary protest 13 years ago, and there was the night fire assault a couple years ago. We had some deserters we had to corral. You remember Larry and Janine raising hell. We thought they were with the night fires. They were acting so foolish, but it turns out they were just on some of that space cocaine. I don't know.
Ebenezer's just like, don't get me started on Larry. That guy.
He's got a lot of gossip.
Yeah.
But yeah, it sounds like Sounds like things are degrading a little bit. Old plastic, the never-ending torment of the climate here. Little bugs and beasties get into everything.
Yeah. I think Ebenezer's just going to mark. Well, could I go just for funsies, check out that back door just to be thorough?
Oh, sure. Yeah. And he gets the toolbox and follows you back there. Sure enough, yeah, the bottom hinge on that back door is a little bad. The thing doesn't sit flush. Like it'd probably be easier to bust in since it's not perfectly fitted.
Ebenezer's just like, Ramsey, I don't blame you. This is a jailbreak waiting to happen.
Jailbreak? Why would anybody break? We have a very fair legal system. The rotating circle of magistrates seems to do the right thing most of the time, and we have a voluntary hermitage with a rotating guard patrols. We're not allowed to work them, because that would be like slavery, I guess. But we don't have that many prisoners, so there's not really that much of a call for perfect everything, and I mean funds are tight, right? There's only so much budget I get every year, He's rambling.
Yeah. I like to think that Crunch isn't normally this much of a busybody, but maybe tonight he's particularly feeling a bit left out with the wild party. Everyone's having fun, and he's out here inspecting doors. So Ebenezer's like, well, maybe a few less donuts on the a few less donuts, and you can afford better hinges. Is all I'm saying.
Okay, and he gets out the wrench and he starts going to town. Actually, if you want to do me a favor, there's the Kwanzaa Hut Q5 just a couple blocks up. That's my kid has a storage unit situation in there. There's kind of a special project, and he does air quotes, and he's like, you might want to air quote inspect that hut before you call it quits for the night. And you think he's talking about an illegal still,
okay,
moonshine that he knows you like.
Oh,
it
okay.
moves around so the authorities won't find it.
Mobile moonshine operation.
Yeah. So he wishes you a good eve. And yeah. Is there anything you want to do before you leave the jail? Or do you want to stay? I mean,
I think I would keep kind of lean around the corner and to have one last look. Oh, quick question. Would it be possible for me to kind of stealthily peer around the corner to see if I see them furiously digging around the toilet?
Oh, yes. The prisoners.
The prisoners. Sure. Yeah.
Yeah. You peek around the corner and you see Chet is leaned against the bars, his whole wide frame kind of filling up the visible space that you can see from here. So you'd have to go around the corner a bit more. But yeah, he's clearly trying to obscure what's going on back there.
Okay.
Do you want to roll stealth and slowly sneak up there? Okay.
Oh yeah, I think I'll fully my old spy instincts are kind of kicking in, something's up.
So give us a stealth.
Okay, so this is D10. Got a 7 plus. Is that wind for stealth?
It's shadow.
Shadow. Okay.
So that's 9 plus you have the skill is 11. So 11 plus your roll.
Oh, 18.
Okay, yeah, you're pretty sure he hasn't spotted you or heard you.
Okay.
So you creep forward a little bit more.
Yeah.
Okay, and you're hugging the side wall and you peek around. And you can see Chet's got his hands in a certain configuration. You think maybe he's giving signs to Mick, who is across the way. Still sat where he was before, but kind of looking in this direction. But Simi has moved, you assume probably over by the toilet beyond Chet. And the only way from here would be to just walk past the cell if you want to see what's really going on.
I think I'm just going to kind of double back and just tell Ramsey to be careful. I don't trust those three. They seem like I'm just going to say those three seem like a bit more dangerous than your typical drunken local kind of a deal.
That's what Norv said. He said they were really dangerous, but everybody wanted to go to the party, and I was like, I was the only one, I guess, who had low seniority, and so that's... I mean, if all I had to do was just repair doors, this job would be fine, but it's just a whole lot of standing around doing nothing.
I say, I hear you, Ramsey. Well, you take care now. Have a good night. Don't get too close to those three. I'm off to inspect the hut Q5.
Okay, cool. So you head around the corner. It's like this area is like a bunch of either one-story buildings or like Quonset huts that are like full of whatever. So it's a little bit like a storage place where you can go in between different storage things. And the ones that actually have people living in, there's flower pots and stuff outside, stretches of AstroTurf. There's like weird sort of dog creatures that are domesticated here. They're local wildlife, but they've got extra bits and bobs that dogs aren't supposed to have. But a couple of them are wandering around. There's a goat that somebody brought from off-world. It's a nice little neighborhood. Do you want to stay there and peep, or are you going to this other hut?
I think I'd like to think that me and this goat have a history. And I do not like this goat. The goat does not like me. I give it like a wide berth and I kind of glare at it. Okay.
It does whatever goats do that's like a horse.
I'm like, not today.
You hear a crack of thunder. You think the rain might be coming in. You think it was off to the east. You're not sure. And yeah, the goat eyeballs you, so you go well clear of him. And you see the Q5 standing there. It's just a big plastic hut, generic, no sign or anything.
Now, did Ramsey tell me that he said his nephew?
His son.
His son.
Science project. Yeah.
Okay. I guess I'll just... Have I been to this? Would his son be kind of semi-expecting me kind of a deal, or?
No, his son is 8. So this is just a pretense for... This is where the still is this week.
Oh, okay. I thought
you would
the
be
son
shocked
was ready
if his son was actually in there.
Oh, that would go on the space clipboard for sure.
But yeah, you never know. Maybe he's getting into the business.
I guess I'll head on in. Or I think at this point, Ebenezer would consider himself kind of off the clock. Well, I've had a long day inspecting doors, stealing donuts. It's time for a little me time.
Okay, so you pop in and you see the guy in front of the still has big headphones on, and he jumps. He gets all excited, and he looks back over his shoulder, and he's like, "Oh, it's just you. Come on in." And this is Doris, and he is pleased to see you. He hands you a mug and says, "First one's free. The rest will cost you."
Ebenezer takes the mug and kind of like a police officer might take off their badge. I put away the clipboard
Oh,
before I
nice.
take the moonshine, and then I'll give it a little tentative sip to see how it is.
Okay. This is pretty good shit. This is like the top of the line. Ramsey, is part of the good. What do you call the top of a criminal organization? The cops are
The head?
involved.
Oh, okay.
They're friendly. They get along.
Yeah.
So yeah, this Doris character is they call him the cook. He makes random drugs and various things, and he's also good with Everclear, whatever this stuff is. It's made from the local demon fruit. It's the best I could come up with off the top.
I like it.
So yeah, he's like, yeah, this is demon fruit, 150 proof. It'll put you on your ass.
Crunch does like one of those like long like exhale cough wheezes, and he's just like, yes, smooth, yes.
Ah, yes. Oh, yes. Indeed. So tell me about those prisoners.
Oh, I don't trust those three one bit. They're apt to break out any second.
What makes you say that?
Just a suspicion. There's a half dozen ways they could do it, and I think they've noticed them all. And I kind of like tell them a little bit about the problems I saw.
Seems to me Ramsey should have a few extra deputies in there, considering he's got 3 crooks. When's he ever had 3 crooks?
You're right, but they're all at the party. Everyone's at the party.
Yeah. If I could show my face there, I would. I hear they broke out the good china. But I'm persona non grata at the moment, ever since. Look, that batch was good when I let go of it. I don't know what happened to it after that.
You've got the good china? No. This night just gets worse and worse. Oh.
So he says, from what I hear, these 3 were shadowing the real deal. Those are like ninjas, basically. They're high level elite infiltrators, mob enforcers, that kind of person. And yeah, that squares with what you saw of them. They're creepy killer eyes.
Yeah.
And he's like, I ain't got no clue what they're doing here, but apparently they bonked Kihar on the head, scared off some random other member of their group. I think they bonked Norv on the head and dragged him into their raft. They were up to no good.
I think Crunch is just kind of like thinking about all this, and he's like, and they say that those 3 were taken in by some newcomers. One of them was killed.
Oh yeah. The VIPs, right. Yeah, that one, Missile. She got poisoned by a weird vine. Got taken out for a while there, but she's getting better now. But yeah, she's the one that drowned the 4th member of their company. Gillamorian, as it happens. Yeah, it's ironic for a Gillamorian to drown. They can breathe underwater, so that's unusual.
Was it particularly muddy water? I
think it was something like that.
Okay.
Asphyxiation of some kind happened. I'm not sure the exact. Apparently, they left the body, so there probably won't be an autopsy. It washed out to sea, I guess. That's a funny
shudders.
colonist joke because there really is no sea. All the water as it drains off the end of the continent like comes back in through these big tunnels that were formed when the colony was made that recapture the water. Because outside where there should be oceans, it's just dry desert. This continent is where the colony was created is essentially the only place where there's wildlife and water and so on.
It's almost like a space station, but on a planet.
Yes.
It's like a closed system. That's cool. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. It creates its own atmosphere. I mean, there's atmosphere, but it creates its own microclimate or whatever.
Nice.
So yeah, he's like, but I'll tell you what, I bet they got some secrets. And I wouldn't be surprised if old Miss Sten uses their experience and hires them. Because we could use the security help. I don't know if you've met Ramsey, but we could probably use some of their skills, against the Night Fires or the Skull Jaguars.
I mean, if you could trust them not to be worse.
Honestly, Norv could use a beat on the head from time to time, if I'm being honest. He's kind of a prick.
Now, he told me that they were, what was that? They were shadows or something?
Shadowing, yeah. They're suspected of being, these hitman types.
And do I know who this old Miss Sten is?
Yeah, that's your executive director, executive officer, Soraya Sten, current chair of the Colony Development Board. So like the mayor, basically.
Gotcha. Crunch is like, well, if Miss Sten thinks that she can keep a handle on those three, it may work out. What do I know? I'm just here inspecting doors instead of being at the big party.
Yeah. Well, I'll tell you what, if you get a chance to look at that big Vorak, she's going to be real popular in this town. I tell you what, there's a whole lot of Vorak bachelors that are hoping to propagate the species, if you know what I'm saying. Yuck, yuck.
Crunch just kind of like, yes. He probably is kind of like a little bit aloof when it comes to, guy talk. He's just like, yeah, yes, whatever.
Doris is a clown. Yeah, so there's some gossip. Do you have any more questions for old Doris?
I guess I'll just ask, like, aside from, has Doris had a chance to meet with the VIPs himself? Because I'm kind of curious about these folks.
No, I got some feelers. I got a couple of the little kids over there trying to do a little spying. I got my little spires. Little horseflies, I call them, for some reason.
It's a good name.
They bounce around town, get in where they're not supposed to be. They're kind of annoying.
Those were those the two I met earlier?
Oh no, these are like actual, like his nieces, Ramona and Beazle.
For a second, I thought you were going to say that these are like actual like horse flies or like little tiny drones or something.
No, but like any good mob type, he uses kids for the low level work.
Yeah.
So yeah, he's got them spying, trying to figure out what the hero's deal is. See if they'd be up for any unlicensed gaming or other contraband situations.
Moonshine smuggling, who knows?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Maybe they got some weird exotic fruits we don't even know about.
They didn't even declare them.
Oh yeah, what about the apple maggot quarantine area?
Oh no. I guess I'll. Sorry, go ahead.
Oh, go ahead. Yeah, he doesn't know much about the heroes, but he's trying to find out.
I guess I'll just have like ask if I can have like one more for the road. And
oh, sure, that'll just be a 5-town script. You're at the point now where you just have like an IOU book that you like. They're like little red slips, and you hand them out to whoever.
I'm like, put it on my tab.
Yeah, he's like, another one of these, huh? When is that money coming in? Oh, hey, maybe now that these people have showed up, you can get access to your funds again.
That's right. That's right. That's a good point. Yes. And then I'll be able to pay everyone off.
I know a whole lot of people that will be very pleased to see that money.
And I will be pleased to give them the money. I mean, I don't like being in debt. It's uncouth.
Oh, of course. Yeah.
So I wish him good night and make off with my little shot of moonshine there.
Okay, so you're heading back to your lair. Are you single? Do you live with anyone?
Yeah, I think I'm probably too like grumpy for a roommate. So maybe I would have just like got like the smallest place I could get on my own kind of a deal. And like I don't know like what Lenari architecture looks like, but I'd like to imagine he's trying to find like analogs for like his favorite kind of decorations. Like as close as he can get to having like a comfortable pad, just salvage out of everything.
Yeah, I'm going to say it's slightly on a hillside overlooking the city hall area. So the view lets you imagine that you're down there with all your peers, even though you don't have a fancy position at the moment. Yeah. And so you're trudging your lonely way back up the hill, and the baker goes by on a cycle and does a little ding ding as she rides by. And you start just as you're getting to your place, you start hearing all this shouting back down near City Hall, and there's people milling about in the square. You can't quite tell, but you're pretty sure there's flashlights going around. Dogs are all starting to bark around town.
I guess I'm going to probably turn on my heels and rush back down to see what's going on. Yeah.
You're rushing back down. You're pretty sore at this point.
I'm out of breath like almost immediately.
Yeah. The rain's really coming down sideways now. It's muddy by the time you get back to the main road. And you come through and you see a crowd is forming. People are shouting. Dogs are jumping up and down, all excited. Even people's kids are coming out. And you see Ramsey is being upbraided by head of security, Beverly Bonifacio.
I love that name, by the way.
Yeah, she's great. She is the colony security chief. She's a Zentrite, blue hair, cut short, and a round face. And she's a real hard ass. And she, as soon as you are able to see her, she sees you, and she's like motioning for you to come over and join her.
All right. I go up and try to look like as official as possible.
Ramsey looks like he wants to just crawl into a hole and die. And now other members of the security team are arriving. Lieutenant LaSalle is a guy with a cyber arm and a cyber eye. He's like what Ramsey wishes he could be. He's like the military bad guy. I mean, badass. And he sees you and he gives you a look like a respectful, oh, okay, we're on the same level class wise or whatever. And then he looks down at Ramsey and he just looks utterly disappointed. And some of his club-wielding squad show up. And what's her name? Beverly says to you, Ramsey tells me you were just doing an inspection earlier this evening.
Yes. It was not good. It did not go well at all. I have a whole list of problems here.
Yes, Ramsey tells us that there were some oversights in the maintenance schedule. And again, she gives him another withering look, and he's like, just looks totally shamefaced. And then she says, now, according to my records, and she pulls up her space clipboard.
Oh, God, no.
And she says, this is the most detailed report you've ever submitted with respect to this or any other security installation, Mr. Crunch. When she says Mr. Crunch, you know shit's getting crazy.
Yeah. I kind of like shift my weight on my heels. I'm like, well, I noticed a few, irregularities this evening. Figured I'd be thorough. Why do you bring that up?
And it's now that you realize that Ramsey's uniform is rumpled, his hair is kind of messed, and the muscles in his neck are still like quivering, like a telltale sign of a stunner blast.
Ooh.
That just missed him, maybe, because he's not quivering on the ground, so he must not have taken it full force. So clearly he was involved in something. And Beverly says, can you explain to me why these problems weren't corrected earlier?
I would have to check my previous reports. To look up a history of. I'm sure that I did not miss anything on my previous inspections. This must be new. All these problems have to be new. I would say.
So in every previous inspection for the last, she flips through her space clipboard, 3 years, there have always been 3 deputies working in the jail when there were prisoners in the cells. Is that correct?
Yes, I believe
so.
so.
You vaguely remember a bylaw or something that's the security rule, but you're not sure. Maybe she's trying to trick you. You're not sure.
Okay. I'm going to slowly yes.
Well, Ramsey's 2 auxiliary deputies for the evening apparently decided that they would be more useful at an unlicensed gaming event. And she looks over at LaSalle and he waves for a couple of the clubbers to bring forward 2 guys. Also shamefaced looking deputies, a couple of real tools.
Oh, no.
And she says, so that takes care of that. One other question, Mr. Crunch. Where were you for the last 2 hours?
I was home the whole time.
Oh, so you went home straight after your inspection of the jail.
Well, I do admit I stared wistfully downhill at the party for a while. A party I was not invited to, I might add. But yes, I went home.
Okay, so give me a deceive.
Deceive.
This you have bonus rank, so it'll be +4 plus your roll plus fire, which is 10.
Okay, so it'd be 14 plus the roll. Okay.
And if anybody can detect lie, it's Beverly.
Well, I rolled well, but I don't know if it's good. I got a 9.
Ooh, yes. Yeah, you managed to slide that one past her.
She spied it. Oh.
And she gives you this real, like, concerned face. LaSalle gives you a sort of raised Tuvok style eyebrow. And so he might be onto you. You're not sure, but she seems convinced. And she says, well, we're going to have to put together a team to track these people down. I imagine the people that brought them in will want to help. And you see now the heroes coming down the steps of the City Hall complex, and they look a little sleepy and confused. And she waves them over this direction, and she says, "This is Gale, who is a Zentrite person in like a robe kind of situation, or colony jumpsuit now, but pumps, like blue pumps." There's who else is there? There's Christie's character is a Zentrite doctor, and she's also a newcomer. You don't recognize her. And the other one is a sort of stocky Afridi lady. She's a monk of some obscure religion that you haven't gotten the deets on that one yet. But yeah, she looks all perky. She's like rubbing her eyes and smiling. It's very strange, like a kid just woke up. And and so that's the scene as more thunder cracks, lightning's much closer. The crowd is all worried and concerned. And Beverly says, Lieutenant LaSalle will give you your orders. And you, Ebenezer, and she leans in close, keep an eye on these three. If they pull anything, you contact me directly. And she gives you a little wristband communicator you can put under your robe. And she puts a subvocal dot like under your chin. And she says, you can talk to us through that. Just tap this button on your wrist and it'll open the comm direct to her. And she says, if you get into trouble, you tap that thing 3 times and it'll send a beacon that'll last as long as this wristband is in contact with your skin. So don't do it too late or we won't be able to find you. And yeah, that's any questions?
No, I think Crunch is like, at this moment, like he feels alive for the first time in a while. Like this is way more interesting than checking out, stuff, right? He's like, this is almost like being sent to spy on someone. So he's like, oh, okay. Yes, you will have a full report kind of a deal, yes.
Yeah, and she says one more thing. She says, LaSalle will be going with you. And given the recent unpleasantness, she's talking about various activity with the other factions. She says, there's no way of knowing how deep the infiltrations might have been. Keep an eye on the lieutenant there. Let me know if he does anything strange. And this is a big deal, like somebody questioning the loyalty of somebody as prominent and respected as LaSalle.
Yeah. I'd probably like fight my urge to kind of glance over at him, and I'll just be like, yes, of course, you have my word, Lady Bonifacio.
Excellent. She points to the club wielders and she's like, get these people out of the square, and stalks back into the city hall and till it's just you, LaSalle, and these 3 heroes standing in the rain, and people murmuring and making crowd noises on their way out.
Nice.
Yeah, I feel like somebody needs to say something funny here. Like, LaSalle says, why did she send you?
Because LaSalle, I'm the best. And like I bust out my space clipboard. And it gleams in the flashlight.
The heroes blink and look between the two of you. All right, so that is a sample adventure for to get you up to speed. How do you feel so far?
I'm into it. I love it. It's a really cool world you got here, and I like all the different factions and characters and intrigue going on. I was not expected. I didn't expect that I would be like sent to keep an eye on LaSalle. So that's kind of an interesting twist at the end, and I'm looking forward to interacting with the VIPs here next time.
Oh yeah, the VIPs. That's right. They need to come up with a team name at some point. Technically, they're a part of something called the Oakleaf Society, but it was really just a pretext to get them on the adventure. They haven't really done much since they've been trapped on this planet. Because, what good is a secret society if it doesn't have access to any of its people or resources?
Oh, yeah.
I mean, that your guy's in that situation too, I suppose.
Yeah, he's kind of like cut off, from being able to help anyone do anything important. So this is probably like the most interesting thing he's gotten to do in years,
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
You got tapped by the boss.
This is my big moment. Don't mess this up, Crunch. He's like staring in the mirror at home. He's like staring at the mirror at home. Crunch, don't mess this up. This is your big break, man. Keep it together.
You got this, man. Okay, so hopefully we'll be able to play again in 2 weeks, but whenever we'll get you in and hunt down the escaped prisoners.
Yes. Sounds good.
Yeah. Let's see. How do people find you on the internet?
Let's see. I am on YouTube. I only have a couple of videos as Brandoff, the off-brand Gandalf. And I do a couple videos on like indie RPGs. I do some adventure walkthroughs where I start with a random results table and I've got nothing, total blank slate, and then I make an adventure in about an hour.
That's cool. Brandoff Gandalf?
Brandoff, the off-brand Gandalf.
The off-brand Gandalf. Good.
It's like Elminster or the Russian Lord of the Rings or
Cool. All right. Yeah, you can find us shatteredworldspod@gmail.com. That's the email. Tweet us at SWRPGpod. Quote tweet a thing about us, something funny we've said, and we could use your name, give you a character on the show. So yeah, like, rate, review, subscribe, all that shit, and keep on listening. We'll see you real soon. I'm a little out of practice. It's been a while. All right. Keep it rolling.
It's a sign of a good GM when you're so into it you accidentally knock off the headphones. That's like hardcore GMing. Hell yeah.
Oh man, I haven't done something that rambunctious in quite a while. All right, well, I can't wait to see more of this Ebenezer Crunch. It's gonna be great.
Yeah. I hope I didn't come off as like too busybody with him. I just figured tonight he's not usually going to be like. So just this was an official inspection. I don't know. He desperately wanted to
the vibe I get is what I kind of tried to set up and seemed to have paid off a little bit. Is just that the colony is pretty dull for the most part.
Yeah.
Like, they can talk about the weather, their various plans to improve efficiency or whatever, and then the gangs, the other factions. And that's about it. So
yeah, that's the impression I got, that like probably it's almost like an easygoing small town, and like maybe off-worlders like Crunch or the VIPs and stuff, like to them it'd be like, I can't believe you just like you leave your doors open at night, like what?
yeah.
Yeah.
So you're gonna be third level.
Okay.
We'll do that once we get your skills squared away. Sometimes with new people like to leave some skill points to like we'll be in the middle of play and they'll be like, I kind of want to be able to do this thing. And I'm like, well, spend your 5 and get it. So if you're not quite sure what all you want now, that's one way you can,
that's cool.
Speed things along. I'm seeing your golden voice, highborn, scrapper, martial arts mastery.
I think that came with being a rogue. It said I had a free.
Yes.
Okay.
You're wealthy, and I don't have any mechanics for that. It's basically just like, if you want some loot, we make you roll a light check, and that's how effectively
that's right.
you come across. That's how you can get liquid, trade in some stocks, whatever.
Yeah, I like the sound of that, like rolling to see if you made somebody. Yeah.
Yeah, but as far as caviar and stuff, it's we're good to go.
Yeah.
But I bet you have like endless IOUs to everybody in town for once you get back to your wealth, you can pay them all off.
He's like a rich guy who winds up in prison.
Yeah,
like he's like, just protect me, and as soon as I get out,
Okay, so let's see, what kind of skills are we looking at? Languages, detect lie, investigation. Let's see, for martial arts, you're going with disarm, haggling, intimidate, persuade, inspire. The thievery ones are the ones you get for free for being a rogue, right?
I think so. I couldn't quite figure out the skills.
You get 20 points towards thievery skills as a rogue. So you have pickpocket, sleight of hand, stealth, and deceive.
Oh, okay.
Those all fall under that umbrella. So it looks like you have those 4.
I could just do like 5 points in each of them.
Yeah. So in insight, it's been a while since I've had a new character. I mean, I guess I did it with Christy. I don't know why I'm blanking, but I know the Lunari get some extra stuff skill-wise, I think. So I'm looking that up.
Yeah, in my notes, I have race-specific gain insight and resources, obtain an item or subsistence non-combat.
Gotcha. So +2 to skill rolls.
I like the gain insight mechanic. I thought that was pretty darn neat.
Yeah, some player came up with that, and I was like, that's a cool idea, because we were trying to think of things that would make the different expressions more interesting, and that was one that was a good idea. I wish I could remember who that was. So let's see, you got 45, and then you're a rogue, so you got those things. So yeah, your points are spent, and now you're going up a level. So each time you go up a level, you get 2 power points and costs 2 to buy a perk after first level. So so you could use that, convert them into action points for use during the game, or skill points, or you could spend 2 to get a new perk or like a fancy item, like cybernetics, stuff like that. And then but you could also just use it to add 1 to, say, your light attribute, and then it would be up 10, and then you'd get another skill point the next time you go up a level. But yeah, would you like to buy a perk?
I don't know. What would you suggest?
So this is kind of like when a D&D person gets to 4th level and they get that extra ability modifier or whatever.
Yeah.
I like to raise one of the main attributes early because it like accrues over time. So like light, you get more skills every time you go up a level, or shadow, you get more mana.
Okay.
For casting spells or whatever, and then water, you get more hit points. But you could also just like double down on a thing you're already really good at, which is fire. Or yeah, you could also turn 1 or 2 of the points into skill points and be more versatile that way.
I kind of like the idea of beefing up the light up to 10 and then...
Okay, cool. Yeah. So beef that up to 10. And for this level up, you get 9 skill points because you have 9 light. You get 6 more vitality. It's 6 times your water stat. And then shadow, you get half your shadow stats. You get 4 more mana. I don't know if you have any powers.
I think I was gonna like avoid magic for this guy. When I'm learning the game, I usually don't do any spell casting, so I can get the basics down.
So we can use mana for like kind of chi style fighting moves or whatever, but yeah, it'll make it easier if we don't have to keep track of that.
Yeah, that's fine. I know I picked some martial arts type stuff for this guy, but I saw it more of him being like a diplomat or a spy who was trained that like if things go horribly wrong, he could like maybe like knock someone out and then just get out of there. He's not like a James Bond punchy kind of guy. He's just like a run, you know.
So there's one thing you could do in terms of skills. You could get skills like from a different discipline that you're not trained in, like you could learn a single spell or a single weapon like a pistol or a rifle, knife. But one thing I was thinking was there are skills under hand to hand, which I believe is your martial arts mastery. So each one of these moves or specializations costs 3. So you could conceivably get 3 more there, like combo or counter, choke, knockout, pressure point, slam, or throw.
Oh, that'd be cool.
Any of those sound good?
I think pressure point sounds like that could be fun.
Okay, pressure point. That's good for a spy. It's quiet.
Yeah.
Okay, so that'll cost you 3. So you have 6 skill points left.
And then, I don't know, maybe like he maybe would have had some kind of training with like a pistol, just like basic.
Perfect. Okay, so that'll cost 5. So you'll have 1 skill point to roll over till next time.
Okay.
So yeah, under wind, put pistol, and under hand-to-hand, under disarm, add pressure point. And so that'll take us up to the next level, which now you have 10 light, so you get 10 skill points. So you have 11.
So I would add those last 2 as like combat actions.
Yeah. So under your martial arts mastery hand to hand, you've got disarm now. Now you'll add pressure point. And pistol is just sort of an a la carte win skill, unless you have martial arts firearms mastery.
Oh, okay.
But since you wouldn't have that written down, just put pistol wherever.
Okay.
It would be the same like if you got a single spell, like for some reason you knew how to cast Quake, you'd just put it under light or shadow. So you have 11 skill points, you have 6 more vitality, and we don't need to worry about mana. So yeah, with 11 skill points, think about where you'd like to spend that. And you also have 2 more power points if you want to get another perk or... Oh, you can also increase the level of these skills.
I was going to ask about that. Okay.
Yeah, if you spend 3, it adds 2 to your roll.
So I could add 2 to 3 different skills?
Yeah, so you could spend 3. You could do that 3 times and then have 2 skill points left over.
That sounds good.
So that's called rank 2. You'd put that on.
Okay.
I guess I see the block in the middle there, the column in the middle. So maybe
for rank, I wasn't sure about.
Yeah, maybe pick the skills that you're going to use the most, like persuade or deceive, insight, just whatever makes you a better diplomat. Detect lie.
Oh, I wanted to ask. I usually try not to step on any other player's toes when I'm joining the game. I just wanted to make sure that there wasn't someone who was already like super specialized in the social stuff, so I wouldn't be
no, they're a bunch of goofy rubes.
Okay,
you know, one spends all her time in her wizard lab, and the other 2 are from backwater nowheres. So you'll fit right in. The only one who's cosmopolitan is Christy. She plays a doctor. So
wait, I remember this. It's Keziah, right? Because I listened to the episode. I liked how you were like, I kept calling her Keziah, like you edited it, so it's like a hard cut from one to the other.
Yes. That's hilarious. So if we're going to add rank 2s to these, would you rather it be languages, detect lie, investigation?
Let's see here. Is insight the same as detect lie?
I think there's a subtle difference, but they probably have some overlap.
I think detect lie sounds a bit more cynical, so I'd probably go for that one. Like he's just expecting people to lie to him.
Nice.
So I'd probably detect lie rank 2, and then maybe persuade rank 2 and deceive rank 2.
Okay, perfect. Persuade and deceive.
Mm-hmm.
You got a gambit for any occasion. Okay, so you have 2 skill points left. So just stash those somewhere since that's not enough for anything. Oh, and you have 2 power points. How would you like to spend those?
Oh, and those can be used on what do you call them again? Perks?
Yeah, you can get a perk. You can convert them to skill points or turn them into action points, which you can use to help you in the game. Everybody starts with 2, but they let you re-roll or add 5 to your roll.
Quick learner sounds kind of good.
Okay.
Subtract 1 from. Let me see here. Can I use the action points to like help other people, or is it just like specifically stuff that affects my character?
That's a good question. I think we should let you can help other people. That's a great idea.
Yeah.
I think we've done that a few times, but I don't think we've set it as a solid rule. So if you want to spend your power points this level on getting a couple extra action points.
Yeah, that sounds
you could
good.
do that. Okay, so write down 4 action points.
Okay.
So yeah, that'll be fun. You'll show up and just everybody gets better.
Yeah.
That's fun. So we have a leadership skill and inspire. I think of inspire as like crowds or like a small group, whereas leadership is a little more tactical.
Okay.
Or specific. I don't know. A lot of the skills are a little squishy borders.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I think that's good. We can move on to your gear.
Okay.
What kind of gear do we need? Well, you have a colony jumpsuit. Everybody gets one.
It's the latest in jumpsuits.
Yeah, well, there's your legacy jumpsuit, which is what you had when you first arrived. But then there's, you get one every few years when yours wears out.
Oh, nice.
And people put flair on them, patches, things like that. But you probably also have some of your fancy clothes left over.
Yeah.
From when you
I was thinking you may have some kind of like ceremonial robe, kind of like brownish red.
Cool.
Yeah.
And you keep it vacuum sealed so the local moths won't get to it.
Yeah, like maybe he stashed it somewhere, or it could even be like buried under a tree or something, Like some people, like they bury guns or money. He's got like his nice suit, so no one can steal it from him.
That's great. I mean, the colony is pretty well run and egalitarian or whatever, but every once in a while there are raids or thefts or whatever, so it makes sense to keep that thing safe.
Yeah.
Let's see. So I got your clothes squared away. Let's see, anything fancy, anything magical, or what's the word? Finely crafted.
Is there anything like a Lenari diplomat would be given, like in general?
I'm gonna say a digital passport, which serves many functions. It's basically like a secure hand terminal, but that's embedded in your wrist, and it can encrypt all kinds of important data and send it out to your handlers or whatever.
Nice.
Gets you through metal detectors. I don't know. And it has like a nearly endless battery life, so it still works.
Cool.
Oh, I don't think we decided. Were you visiting the colony from the conclave or like a Lunari planet, or were you a member of the colony?
I thought that he would just be like visiting, kind of like on a weekend business trip or something. So, and then he just gets stuck here for 30 years. Yeah.
Hell yeah, that's much funnier. So if anyone here is is more motivated to get off the planet, it's you.
Yeah. In my notes for the character, I like to come up with I saw this great video about like for building characters. The lady suggests coming up with like an immediate goal and then like a super goal, which is like an acting technique.
Oh.
And so for this guy, like I'm not sure which is which. I keep kind of flip-flopping on which one's the super goal, but one is like a general. He wants to earn back his respect and just be respected in general, which he probably hasn't gotten a whole lot of in the last few years. He's kind of just doing the really minor diplomat kind of stuff. And like two is like just get off this planet, like whatever means possible.
Yeah, you were in the prime of your life when you got stuck here.
Yeah. I've been meaning to ask, like, why are people stuck here because I've only listened to the last episode.
Oh, okay. So this was the furthest colony in Conclave space, well beyond standard shipping lanes, because the fuel source is a little bit hard to come by the farther away you get from the main sort of center of civilization.
Mm-hmm.
So when the second Yafriti rebellion happened and there was this big nasty war, this period called the collapse happened, and like it was hard for anybody to like travel between planets. It was so expensive. It's gotten easier, like civilization has sort of returned quite a bit, but it's only now these planets that were cut off for decades are being rediscovered essentially. And as far as anyone knows, this place was totally forgotten. And
oh wow.
But somebody knew about it because they were driving space trains over it. So
oh no.
Somebody associated with this space station where our heroes started the season, whoever built that thing knew about this planet. And so that's interesting that they'd just let y'all continue to live down here in obscurity.
Yeah, that's nice. That's nice of them.
Yeah. So it's a bit of a scandal if we find out who's been up to no good.
Nice.
Other gear, I mean, the colony, you'll have, I think your like day-to-day job probably is something to do with like inspecting, like, I don't know, like safety protocols, or like you have to go from room to room and building to building, like making sure everyone's like filling out proper, I don't know. What do you call it? Like, an inspection. I don't know.
Yeah. He's got like a little clip. He's got a space clipboard.
Yeah, space clipboard. Down. Exactly.
Yeah.
And so that's where we'll start. So you have a space clipboard.
I'll add that to the inventory.
You have a key ring in case you need to get in when somebody's not manning the post, or if it's a surprise inspection. So call it colony keys. And I guess that's it. So I have a sample adventure ready to go if you're interested.
Awesome.
Okay,
yeah.
Cool. Let's take a quick break. I'm going to get some water.
Sounds good.
I'll be right back.